We're working with 5 excerpts of Walden by Henry David Thoreau. Walden details Thoreau's ideas and experience during his social experiment of living 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days in the woods in a cabin he built near Walden Pond amidst woodland. It works as a sort of personal declaration of independence from society, a voyage of spiritual discovery, satire, and a manual for self-reliance. Transcendentalist ideas are expressed, such as solitude, the greatness of nature, and the lies of society, for example, material goods and the conformity of everyday life. He encourages defining our own truth instead of society's definition of this.
Our village life would stagnate if it were not for the unexplored meadows which surround it. This is the introduction to the first excerpt of Walden, and it exemplifies the idea that nature is greater than us humans and that we need to find something unexplored, something mysterious, in order to truly appreciate it. The idea is repeated in the next quote. We need to witness our own limits transgressed, and some life pasturing freely where we need never wander. In that way he says that there are parts of nature which we have never seen, and that makes nature this mysterious entity which we want to explore but at the same time are unable to.
In excerpt number 2, Thoreau talks about why he left his cabin after 2 years, and it is explained in the quote. It is remarkable how easily and insensibly we fall into a particular route and make a beaten track for ourselves. I had not lived there a week before my feet were a path from my door to the pond side. This quote exemplifies how easily we adopt a daily routine and habit. And this is one of the society values that transcendentalist ideas opposes, this conformity and this safety net. It's also seen in the quote, "The surface of the earth is soft and impressible by the feet of men, and so with the paths in which the mind travels." So it's easy to make tracks in Earth's muddy ground. The paths in which the human mind travels is often the same as it always has been. So the mind doesn't strive or transcend into some bigger truth. And Thoreau wants to abstract from getting set in his ways, from tradition and conformity. In the quote, "I did not wish to take a cabin passage, but rather to go before the mast and on the deck of the world, for there I could best see the moonlight amid the mountains." This is a metaphor, and it emphasizes Thoreau's philosophy of making one's own path, because if you take the same safe route as the rest of society, you will not see the beauty of nature and of life. So the main point is Thoreau left his cabin because routines were catching up on him, which opposes the transcendentalists' ideas.
In the third excerpt, Thoreau tries to relate to his readers that not everyone is born to live a life of conformity, and in order to live a truly happy life, we have to find our own definition of what happiness and success is. This is exemplified in the quote, "If a man does not keep peace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. It is not important that he should mature as soon as an apple tree or an oak. Shall he turn his spring into summer? If the conditions of things which were made for is not yet what we were any reality." This idea is the idea behind the quote and the quote above. That is that we need to find our own definitions. We shouldn't follow along with our peers and try to all live similar lives, but we should break away from the structure which society has defined for us.
And then in the fourth excerpt, Thoreau's message is that you should love your life in spite of its conditions. The quality of your life is not determined by material wealth or other common standards. He says, "However mean your life is, meet it and live it. It is not so bad as you are." So there's an emphasis on nature being there's also an emphasis on nature being available for everyone, and nature doesn't distinguish between social classes. Poverty is also very much encouraged, because by being poor, it's easier to find truth, because you're not inflicted by all sorts of material goods. He says, sell your clothes and keep your thoughts, because it is the truth in your mind that's the important thing, not material goods. Because material goods are lies we live on, and it's not the key to happiness. Nature is, because nature is truth, according to transcendentalists. They say, cultivate poverty like a garden herb, like sage, which is illustrated in this drawing. And it means treat poverty with care, because if you see the best in your situation, you will make your situation grow and blossom. So take your poor life and turn it into an advantage.
In the fifth excerpt, we get the quote, rather than love, than money, than fame, give me truth. The quote is the embodiment of all of the ideas presented by Thoreau, and he's telling his readers that we should try and find our own truth and not seek what other people define as success. In that regard, being poor does not matter, being rich does not matter, but being happy does matter. And no matter what situation you're in, you can always find that happiness on your own, with the help of nature and looking inward. Moving on to the perspectives, the text we could draw a perspective to several of the texts which we read throughout the course, these including Nature by Waldo Emerson, where he's focused on the transcendentalist ideas, such as not having a clearly defined path in life, can be seen as well as in this text. It can also in our definition of transcendentalism, Emerson gives us the quote, and so he resists all attempts to palm other rules and measures on the spirit than its own. As said, you should find your own definitions. Another perspective can be drawn to Into the Wild, where where Thoreau serves as a clear inspiration for Chris, the main character, when he wanders into the wilderness to find his own happiness, to find his own life, rather than what his parents and his peers expect of him. And the last perspective could be drawn to The Tables Turned by William Wordsworth, where the idea of nature being a teacher in life, and at the same time the idea that we should not overanalyze nature and try and understand it and its vastness, only makes us appreciate it more.